The Sakazuki leader is very powerful, so powerful in fact that they banned him and replaced him with this promo version with a really worse ability. Is it worth playing? Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby. We're going to talk about the new promo Sakazuki with the deck that I have been running. We're going to be talking about the attackers, the 2Ks, the blockers, the utility, and the events. So let's get started. But before we do, make sure to like and subscribe. Link in the description if you want to see all of the other deck profile videos, the duels we do, and of course there's a video showing my whole process on how I create these proxies if you want to play some cards early. So let's go ahead and get started with the leader itself. So, really quick, I think this playstyle, it's kind of the same as the other Sakazuki, where you're pretty much doing nothing but trying to lower cost and using a lot of KO value cards or bottom deck removal. However, the last leader had a very strong ability where when you attacked, you would lower the cost. Here, though, all you have to do is trash a card, which is pretty freaking bad. And also, the other card had the ability to sift, so it's very terrible. So this is running even more Navy cards than normal because you want to be able to trash them to use the ability. And there's a lot of things like this card. If you are going to use this leader, he is absolutely going to be carried by the deck. But because he is Navy, blue, black, that is a powerful combination with the cards available right now. So yeah, pretty much you just have to trash something to go down. And with this deck, you kind of want some things in the trash because you're going to bring it back with Gecko Moria, or you need to use Rob Lucci and stuff like that. So there is a little bit of synergy there. But let's go ahead and talk about the events first. So here we go, Ice Age. So we're running 2 of these Ice Ages. This is pretty staple. This leader, you're not going to be using this ability every single turn. You're only going to use it when you have really good value plays. So you're going to need a lot of cards that lower things here. So we have some Ice Ages here. It's just way too good, right? The -5, and then you have other cheap cards like Rob Lucci and things to help put this thing away. But yeah, the trigger is really good too. So we're running 2 of these. Next up, we have Ama no Murakumo Sword from OP06, 2 costs. Then activate, place a 2 or 1 to the bottom of the deck in any order. This is pretty much a Rob Lucci that costs 2 less. It's Navy, and it doesn't have a body attached with it. But the trigger is not that great because not often you are going to use the trigger for its full effect. You're going to use it on your turn when you lower some costs. So it's like whatever. It's decent. We're running 2 of these, but absolutely this is your big removal board of the game, and you get the most value out of it. This is Hound Blaze from OPO. What is that? 5, right? Yeah, OPO 5. Okay, so it's 2. And it's Navy. So up to one of your leader or characters gains 3,000. Then you place a 2 or less to the bottom of the deck. So this gives you power for one of your characters, placing one down. They're very cheap, meaning you can do a lot of cost reduction beforehand. So absolutely crazy powerful. And the trigger is, yeah, it's okay too. So yeah, there you go, running 4 of these. So those are your events of the deck to really help out. You can see everything here is either reducing the cost or placing stuff to the bottom, because that is the overall theme of this Sakazuki deck. Next up, the utility cards. There is a lot because this leader kind of needs it. All right. So this is Tashigi from OPO6. This is the alternate arts. 1, 2, 1. On play, look at the top 5 and grab any Navy, and then put the rest to the bottom of your deck. So I'm running Bernus in this deck as well. This is really good because it allows you to sift for 5. Bernus good because you get 3 and you trash 2, which you really want. So I pretty much were running 8 searchers to really make sure you get what you specifically need. Unfortunately, a lot of your Omega really amazing pieces like the Gecko Morias and the Rob Lucci's won't be searched by Bernu or Tashigi, but you're still gonna need a search for exactly what you need. So we're running 4 Tashigi's, and the same thing with Bernu. As mentioned, you look at 3, and it's Navy, so it doesn't have to be a black or a blue Navy, which is great. And the you can use them as an attacker later, not really Tashigi. And yeah, so these are really good. And if you don't really need a search or anything, these guys are good for just trashing for your ability. And speaking of really good cards to trash, next up it's going to be Helm Eppo here. So basically this is going to be in the part of the utilities, which is not your primary attackers, right? So Helm Eppo, 2, 3, 1. Up to one of your give up to one of your opponents -3 costs during their turn. Very good for allowing you to activate stuff like Hound Blaze and things, for example. On a turn where you have 4 mana, For Dawn, you pretty much lower somebody by 3, and then you put up a 2, so you can get rid of a 5, have a body on the board, have your leader get 3,000 more power, and you're not even KOing. So if you fight something like a Kikunojo, you can go ahead and bottom deck it instead of KOing it, activating KO effects. So it's pretty good. And the reason why we're running some Helm Epos, 2 of them, it's because once again you can trash it from your hand and bring it back we can bring it back with Gecko Moria. Next, we're going to be running some Charlotte Puddings. Just one. Absolutely one. I feel like in every blue deck, the more I play blue, the more I find this character extremely useful. So 4/4/1, Big Mom Pirate, so not searchable by anything in the deck, and only one in run, so pretty inconsistent, but when it happens, you're usually going to just use it for a counter or the ability. Your opponent returns all their cards to their hand and shuffles their deck. Then they draw 5. So this is really good, obviously, if they have more than 5 cards. But throughout the whole game, they've been searching. They've been keeping cards. Maybe they have a lot of 2Ks. You can go ahead and reshuffle their whole deck, and it's a totally random thing. So it's really amazing. Okay, and once again, this leader needs a lot of help, so we're running some Marine Fords. You might want to run more than 2. It really depends on your preferences. But pretty much, yeah, on play you give -1. Then you can rest the stage later and give it -1 more. So effectively, you could do -2 with just these 2 cards and then do some more stuff. But yeah, I recommend 2 to 4, absolutely, in this deck. In the other Sakazuki deck, you did not ever need to run these. But because you're not always wanting to trash a card to get the effect off, you're going to need something like this. So there are the utilities. Now for the blockers, this deck needs a lot of good blockers. So we have the Borsalinos 4/5/1 from OPO2. So on your opponent's turn, he gains 1,000. So 4/6, extremely powerful, and it cannot be KO'd by effects. It can still be trashed and bounced back, but it's just really good in general. It's also searchable by Navy. You can search for all of it, and it's a 4-drop, so you can get it by Gecko Moria if you really need that. You know, if your opponent doesn't have anything on the board, you need more blockers, get these guys out. It's really nice. So rank 2 of these Borsalinos, and then of course these staple Rebecca's that you're going to have in your deck from OPO5. 4/0/1, innate blocker, but it really easily KO'd because 0 cost. But yeah, on play, add up to a black character, 3 to 7 back to your hand. Then you play up to another black character that is 3 or less. So honestly, you can bring back any character, and you don't have to play whatever you've got. Or you can have something in your hand that you already have to play. For example, Bernu. You can throw out Helm Epos. So you have a really good amount of stuff here. Good combos with Rob Lucci. Good combos with Gecko Moria. So there you go. Now let's move on to the 2Ks. So we have more Navy cards in the form of Tsurus. Really staple, absolutely needed in this deck. 1/0/2, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2. This is like, you want to primarily use her for the counter, but if you need that extra stuff just for removal, you're going to have to use her and throw this out. It's pretty nice. So I'm running 4 of these. And I'm running a little bit of a different thing. Most people would like to run T-Bones for more Navy 2Ks, but I decided, hey, this freaking leader needs more help with cost reduction. So we have another one that allows you to do it for just 2 mana. So 2/0/2, activate main. So you may trash this character. So this really works as well with Gecko Moria if you need to do it, because it can be the 2-drop that you bring, and then you can activate it anytime else during the turn to -3 to trash this character. And once you trash it, it's more fodder again. It's really nice. So running 4 of these. So not searchable, whatever, etc., but it is what it is. Now for the main attackers and how you're gonna hopefully win the game. So you have some Hinas, which is 5,000 power, 0 counter. On play, give somebody -4. So once again, extremely good. 5 mana, you can go ahead and KO a 6 cost bottom deck of 6 characters. Really strong. Also another good target for Gecko Moria. So we're running 2 of these Hinas. Next up, we're running some Kuzans. These are really strong cards. 4/5/0 counter. A lot of 0 counters in this deck, but even so, you can still trash them for the effect. Okay, so on play, draw a card, which is so useful in its own right. When attacking, give your opponent, give up to one of their characters -4. This is a really amazing card if you can keep it on the field. Your opponent is not going to want that effect off at all. So they're going to try to remove it with a lot of stuff, keep it alive with a lot of things. And yeah, just Kuzan's really good. Next up, another big piece of the deck, Rob Lucci. So this is from OPO5, 4/6/0 on play. You get 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck. A lot of things, you know, at least this leader likes to trash things. right? He likes to trash things so that you can get this off more often than not. Or starting your game with the Branu is really good because you can place 2 cards in there. And just make sure in advance, if you know you might want to remove some stuff, make sure you might want to do that extra counter, even if it might be a little bit inefficient, to always have at least 3 cards in your trash to do this. But then you're going to be KOing a 2 and a 1. So it's effectively an Ama no Murakumo, except this is KO, while this is bottom decking. Bottom decking is obviously better, but then this guy has a nice body on the board as well, and it can be brought back by Gecko Moria. So really good. 2, 3, 4. Next up, we have some more tech choices in the form of Borsalino. I really like using this just because, you know, it's a freaking blue-black navy deck, so why not add this Borsalino? It's really strong, good body. So 780. On play, place a character with a cost of 4 or less to the bottom of the deck. Once again, bottom decking is just one of the best things ever. Navy, so really good. I'm running 2 of these just to supplement, just in case you don't get a lot of Gecko Morias. At least you might be able to search for these late game and keep a presence on the board. And then finally, these are the highest costs we're running, these Gecko Morias from OPO6. 890 on play, choose a 4 and a 2 to bring back 1 up active and 1 rested. There are just so many cards in this deck that you can use for this. Let's give you some examples. So let's say one of your best things to do is you want to KO something. So you put an 8 cost here. You want to grab your Rob Lucci, but then you also need something to lower something's cost on the board. So you want to grab the Suru. So pretty much you'll be able to activate this, get really 2 big bodies on the board. You go ahead and rest Suru, this guy's up, etc. So that's like a really good like turn play where you can do things. Also, what you can do, where's the Rob Lucci's? If you want to be super defensive, just get out Borsalino active and get out this guy and put it rested so you can trash it at a later time. If you want to be even more crazy, you can freaking pause the game for a freaking 5 minutes while you figure this out. But you can Gecko Moria into a Rebecca, bring something back into your hand, and then throw other stuff out. It's just so many freaking things you can do. And because this is an 8 cost, if you have 10 mana, you can do all of these shenanigans, lowering costs, and then you can still do something like a Houndblaze or an Amanu Murakumo. So it's extremely good. Gecko Moria is like perfect for this deck, which is why I think it's going to be restricted or banned in the upcoming, well, you know, like sets that they're going to be talking about. So that's it for this deck. There's a lot of like 2, 3, 4, and even like 1 cost things with the Charlotte Pudding. And I'm doing a lot of experimenting with this deck, trying to figure out the best ratios. But honestly, I feel like this deck's strong for removal, even if you are losing some more cards per turn if you need to use this ability. I think that this leader gets carried really hard by the archetype and the colors. Obviously, it's just not going to be as good as it was when using the other Sakazuki, which is crazy why they banned him, and hopefully upcoming law ban coming in. But yeah, this card is really fun to use. I love the Charlotte Puddings. And yeah, there you go. So yeah, a lot of searchers in this deck. We're gonna go from there. So let me know what you guys think about the Sakazuki. The thing is though, once again, there's a lot of key pieces you need to have at once, but then there's a good amount of things you can do for the trash. And yeah, it's interesting. So I can't wait to play this a lot more, see what happens, and we'll go from there. Link in the description if you want to see the duels and all that stuff of how this is going to work out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.